Welcome back to the Best Start Guide. It is day 90. It's been a good week since my last video. So it's day 90. We collect Dark Athel. And this episode, I'm just going to do a bit of an update on what's been going on with the account. I have been passively playing every day, basically making sure we get through the energy, making sure there's champions in the sparring pit here, just gradually leveling so that we can have our next five-star units to get all the way to another 6-star unit. It does take forever. So it's day 90. We are level 56. And that means we've had enough time to make 7 6-star units so far. It is certainly possible to be even more efficient than this. This is just how efficient I'm able to be with the time I'm able to devote to this game. It is very taxing to be doing this on multiple accounts. I of course have 3 clans that I run now, so there's a lot of going between various accounts, trying to make sure I'm on top of everything. So basically, here are my first 7 6-star units. We started with Kale. This is just going to be kind of a review of everything. The day 90 review, that's what we'll call it. So we started with Kale. Kale's gear at this point brings him to not quite 100% crit rate, but he's still in lifesteal. So he's a good solo champ for various areas. He's good in the Doom Tower too at this point. And he's got about 200% crit damage. He's got about 150 accuracy, which is not quite enough to push to the very final clan boss, but it is good enough for brutal. So right now we are either 1 or 2 keying brutal, kind of depending on the luck. I'd like to push it to the point where it's a consistent 1 key of brutal. So we've got Kale. The next 6-star unit was Sun Wukong. Then we moved to Xeno. Then, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was Apothecary and then Rathalos Blademaster. I may be getting those two mixed up. And then I made Foley because I pulled Foley and I really wanted somebody who could block revive in the arena. He's still not fantastic. Like if we look at his gear, he's only got to about 3,000 attack right now, but his crit rate and crit damage are still pretty good. So I'm going to be switching to him soon in the arena, but I'll show you the current team that I used to farm the arena in a moment. And the 7th was Diabolist, and the reasoning here was I wanted to get somebody to be as fast as possible. Diabolist just seemed like the right candidate for this to speed lead. So her speed is at this point 295. Damn near 300 speed. So we can compete with those really fast teams in the arena. So if I go to, we'll start with the arena. Because in fact, here's where we'll start. We'll start with the missions. At this point, it's upgrade an affinity bonus to level 7. And a lot of the other people that are starting new accounts, that have started a new account 3 months ago, are about here because it takes a while to get this done. At this point, I am 1 point away from it. We just got to get the crit damage on my magic champions to 15%. We're going to need 700 of these tokens. We're at 104 right now, so this will take, I don't know, as long as it takes. I guess when I have my next episode ready, it'll be because I'm ready to move on in the missions. Or it'll be because another month has passed. If another month has passed, that'll be really sad. Just quickly, the day 90 bonus, Dark Athel, I have never really found a particularly good use for her. It looks like she was probably designed to be good at Spider, but at this point, anybody with an area of effect burn is probably better at Spider. At 120 days, we get Dark Elhain. Now on this particular account, I just sort of randomly pulled her, so I may still build her for day 120. I guess we'll see what happens this coming month. So we'll go ahead to the arena. Actually, I should grab this. So we got our Ancient Shard, our Mystery Shard. So I'm going to look for teams that I can farm with quickly. It's not always readily apparent. But I'm willing to risk it because we're at full anyway. So let's try this top team and see how it goes. If it goes really smoothly, they can often finish this in about 3 seconds. Wow, 2 seconds. Normally it's 3. I wonder why it's even faster this time. So let's try another one. Again, I mean, that was too fast. I feel like I wanted to show you guys. Wow, that guy's really tanky. So this is how you want to be able to farm Arena. You don't want it to take too long because, good God, we got other stuff to do. Blarian, we got other stuff to do. Everything takes so long in this game. Oh no. Alright, I think we're still gonna make it because we blocked her block damage thing. And so basically this is what you hope for. Lucky matchups, but honestly, I'm not so picky with my fights. Sometimes you want to keep refreshing until you see those one-man defenses or very early game defenses. But honestly, if you have a really solid team like this, you can just be prepared to fight and take the risk. Like here's a Duchess team. We don't take out this Duchess, we're in deep trouble. And of course, Ronda's a really good champion, so we might be in trouble anyway. So that's basically how I farm Arena these days. I can show you guys the team. I think that would be fair, wouldn't it? So here's essentially what they look like. Gorgorab, actually, we'll go in the order in which they move. So basically, Diabolist, we use the positive charge. She basically steals turn meter from the enemies and gives turn meter to her allies. So you really want her going first. She's kind of like the mini version of Deacon. If you happen to have Deacon, he's even better than her. But of course you can use both in conjunction. So she speeds into Gorgorab, who then increases everybody's attack with his opening move. This is important because this is going to make any attack-based champions do tons more damage. I have Kayle going ahead of Sun Wukong, but this is kind of a toss-up. Because with Sun Wukong, you can open in one of two ways. You can open with his Now You See Us. So you could do the block buffs first, just to make sure, and he's doing a strip too. So you want to strip away everybody's buffs and then place block buffs. If you didn't start with Sun Wukong, there are other champions that can strip, but basically if you don't have that option, then never mind. You're probably just going to do it the way I'm currently doing it, which is to sort of ignore this until later. And what I'm doing instead is I'm boosting straight into Kayle, and I'm just using his big AoE to hit as hard as possible, and then finally modulating into Sun Wukong. The great thing about Sun Wukong's Staff of Wonder is I've got his crit rate to 100. I've got his crit damage as high as I could get it. It's not even all that high. I think he's got a crit rate gauntlet instead of a crit damage gauntlet, but he does have 100% ignore defense. And ignoring defense, if you can get one champion that just completely ignores defense, you can just completely gamp just about anything. So that's how the team works. And yeah, just in case anybody's not familiar with the Staff of Wonder move, what happens if you can completely kill one champion, any overflow damage just immediately hits everybody else. So that's why I want Kayle going first. We want Kayle going first so he does his massive damage hit. And then Sun Wukong can come in and pick whoever's at the lowest. That way you have the best chance at the biggest overflow number. So we can try one more team. Now that you kind of know how that works. Of course, it'll be embarrassing if this doesn't work. See, we should have aimed for her. That way we would have got rid of the reviver. We'll try that again. I think we could do it if we hit Ursula the Mourner first. So I'll just highlight her. Okay, I think we just met our match here. Never mind. This didn't work. Can always count on it when you want to do the instructive part of the video that it just doesn't work. We'll just pull another team. A lot of these teams at this point we're kind of out of our depth already. You might notice that a lot of these teams have much higher player power than we do. Like, what's the average here? That's actually a very low one at the bottom. But the average here looks like it's something like 150 to 200. And then we got a 77 down here, but we're down at about 102. And I think probably we should target him. Anyway, that's the arena team. That's the way it works. So we're gonna do our daily check-in stuff. And currently, farming is still the same. I have really made no changes to this strategy. It's basically just Kale coming in, finishing it as quickly as he can. I do have Bellower, so it's possible to build Bellower to farm a little bit faster because he's got an AoE on each move, but I hadn't made that a priority so far, just because I did want to get my speed lead out. I did want to get a good arena nuker out, despite the fact that I'm still not using him as an arena nuker. And in fact, Foley's masteries, I didn't go over the masteries either. So her masteries aren't even done, but I did get her the book mastery, which gets her just a little bit faster. This was really the paramount thing to get Diabolist, was to get the, and it's not called the book mastery, what's it called? It's called Lore of Steel. Wanted to make sure I got her Lore of Steel so that she could be as fast as possible. We had the best chance of cutting in as quickly as possible. On Foley, I made him for Clan Boss instead. So he's going to switch to Helm Smasher eventually so that I can just nuke crazy hard in the arena. But for now, because he's a champion that's got 4 hits on 2 of his attacks, attacks one enemy 4 times, attacks 4 times, this is just amazing at Clan Boss if you pair it with Giant Slayer. So that's why I did it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Clan Boss now, so you can see the team that I did to beat Brutal in one key. It's still not 100%, but as you can see, Foley's not actually completely leveled yet. That's going to happen passively as I continue to farm. I think I'm just going to farm Spider with him. I'll show you the Spider farming team, but I've actually showed you guys that team before. It hasn't changed much either. But here is the team. Basically, I come in with Kale. I shut off Acid Rain because I'd rather just get as many poisons as possible with Kale. With Rathalos Blademaster, I'm just prioritizing his biggest attack, which ignores defense completely. With Foley, I switched off his area of effect because it's the least useful when it comes to damaging the Clan Boss. This way, every hit does 4 hits. So each turn he's got 4 chances to score Giant Slayer procs. Then we've got Xeno. And Xeno, it's the same kind of thing. Her, I didn't even need to switch anything off. I prioritize this because it's 4 hits. This is 4 hits. This is 3 hits. So she just gets multiple hits against the Clan Boss again. And Apothecary, I switched off his heal. It's just kind of not super useful. You're better off trying to heal by using Leech and doing lots of damage with all of your champions. That'll actually be a bigger healing amount. I suppose I could turn Soothing Chant on and see what happens. In fact, you know what? Why not? For the sake of science, let's turn it back on and see if it makes any difference. So we'll run the Clan Boss, just like this. We won't see it the slow way, but we will see the end screen. So here we got the 1 key. And I'm not sure how to show the difference. This is the thing. But Xeno is doing the lion's share of the damage. She's doing about 8 million. I'd love to see Foley do more. And Kale doing more as well. But Xeno's very fast and she has Relentless Gear. So maybe that's the key, is just to put your champions in Relentless Gear. Apothecary's also in Relentless Gear. So he's got a chance to go again. He's spending more of his time healing, but I did give him Giant Slayer as well. So his triple hitter on his A1 also scores lots of damage. And you know what? I don't want to be wasteful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run hard. so that I maximize the number of chests we get. Also, I don't know if this bugs you that I just speed through the chests and don't even look at what they are. But the thing is, it kind of doesn't matter. You're playing the long game here. So whatever fell out of the chests, that's gravy for whatever we do. Hey, and you know what we could do? Because it is a double primal shard day. We've never pulled primal shards on this account before, so it might be fun to close out the day with primal shards. I'm glad I got to that because I almost forgot. You might notice I don't have any notes up this time. I figured I just come back and do it. And if I miss something, I miss it. You know, I can come back for another episode later. But is there anything else important to show you guys today? We'll go to Doom Tower. This is another area. I'm pretty proud of the progress we've made in Doom Tower. This is the furthest we've gone so far. We got to floor 60, and we've done 4 of the secret rooms. And it's actually a new day, so I can kind of show you the team that I've been using. It's really, you know, 5 of the original champions that I had. I've got a special team for Griffin. I've got another special team for Scarab King. Scarab King was particularly awkward. Actually, let's go over the Scarab King team. Maybe that's the most important one to do. Scarab King is kind of funny. So with Scarab King, we've got 5 champions that have Blood Shield accessories. That is the strategy that I used. So basically, every time one of my champions hits, they put a shield on themselves. So you can see he hits, he gets a shield. He hits, he gets a shield. Kale hits, he gets a shield. She didn't attack, so she didn't make a shield, but it doesn't matter. But basically, if you're fighting the Scarab King, and you hit him and you don't have a shield up, he immediately counterattacks. So you can already kind of see part of the problem with this team is I haven't fully built these champions. These 2 in the back row are actually quite weak, but I figured it was just better than nothing. And I guess these waves will take a little bit of time. But she's good and tanky, so she can get everybody back up. I probably should prioritize hitting, what's his name? Broadmaw first, because he is the reviver, right? And we'll do that again here. We'll highlight Broadmaw, so the enemy team doesn't revive. But basically, this is going to be a kind of a long fight, so if any of you decided you wanted to skip ahead, I wouldn't blame you, because I'm just going to put the whole fight here. You know, if you're familiar with my channel, you know the drill. I don't do any editing. I don't cut anything out. I don't modify my speech to make myself sound less scatterbrained than I am. You're just seeing as it pans out. It's a wonder why I don't just stream this stuff as well. If any of you would be interested in seeing a live stream, just please let me know, because I've been thinking about it. I'm probably going to spend much more of my videos doing live arena, which is my favorite area of the game. A lot of this other stuff is just kind of a grind. And it's the kind of stuff you put on in the background while you watch TV, or while you read a book, or while you play a better video game, right? So, one of the best ways to take down Scarab King quickly is to have somebody in a destroy set. Now, I put Galcut in a destroy set, but you can see he doesn't stay alive for very much of the fight. If I were to completely build out Galcut, which I'm tempted to do, because he does have an area of effect on his A1. So he is useful in faction wars. He can be useful in farming campaign locations that are not necessarily Area 12. He wouldn't be good at Area 12 because he's a Force champion, but he would be good at a lot of other areas. Particularly areas with a lot of magic, but also areas with a lot of Force, where basically my only other real campaign farmer right now is Kale, and he's not going to be good at Force locations. So we're about 3 minutes in. Boss is about halfway down. I could also go over the Nether Spider boss. I may as well while I'm here. I'll show the Nether Spider boss. I use a slightly different team, but it's kind of the same members that tend to survive. But anyway, Destroy is good because you can slowly but surely wear away at this shield. And once you wear down the shield, the damage comes back much, much faster. But the other way is you can also just put poisons on him. I'm also using Brimstone, but doesn't seem to be... I think Brimstone is actually affected by the shield. It looks like it's only doing about 10% its normal damage. I think Poison, on the other hand, does do the full amount of damage, so Poison is maybe the other way to go if you're fighting against Scarab King. And of course, why not use both? Why not use Poison and Destroy at the same time, if you can get it working? It's all a question of who's got the right gear. But you could put, if you don't have any Poisoners, you could put a Toxic set on someone. You definitely want a Destroy set on at least someone, and then you want Blood Shield on everybody that comes along, or just somebody that's good at putting up their own shields. There are champions that do this. I think I even have one in my roster who puts up the shield on the whole party. Metal Shaper. He's a lizard man. He puts up a shield on the whole party for 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown. So you can kind of try to build your team around that if you speed tune it. But basically, if you don't feel like speed tuning a team and you want to use your own champions at the speed you want to use them at, you use the Blood Shield accessories. Basically, that's it. So we've also got a Nether Spider team. Why don't we do this one as well? So 3 of the same champions, but now I'm bringing back... I think this might even just be my regular Doom Tower team, come to think of it. But I did set special presets, because against the Nether Spider, you have these Spiderlings who will counterattack if you hit them, and it will heal the main spider every time that happens. But the AoEs from Kale and Sun Wukong are powerful enough to just wipe out the mini spiders, so I still have them doing that whenever they can. So basically, you don't want to hit these spiderlings unless you can outright kill them. If you cannot outright kill them in one hit, do not hit them. Unless you have yet another strategy. There is an even faster strategy to beat the Nether Spider, but it involves having Block Revive, and it involves having Geomancer. I do not have a Geomancer, so I cannot show you that method on this account. But if you happen to have a Geomancer, and you want to know, and you can't find it anywhere else, I would be happy to make a video about how to do this with Geomancer and Block Revive super quickly, even on the hardest difficulty level. Even though this is actually pretty fast. I'm not used to it going this fast. Actually, you know what? I think it was slower when I wasn't having Kale and Sun Wukong go for their area of effect attacks. So that probably sped things up quite a lot. Anyway, so that's the mini account progressing through the Doom Tower. There are good rewards in the Doom Tower, right? You want to go after these Void Shards in particular, because they are hard to get at this particular stage in the game. And then you want to hang on to them for the right opportunity. Is there anything else I want to do before I pull those shards? We've covered Doom Tower. I have still yet to really make any progress in Hydra. I do have a go-to plan for Hydra. I basically needed a good Provoker, and my Provoker just wasn't strong enough. He kept dying outright. And my Provoker was Master Butcher. So basically, I might even build him next. This actually makes sense. I would like to 6-star at least one of my revivers at this point. We've got Jamarsa. She's actually over 50,000 HP now, which was one of the challenges, in fact. And then I took Tagore, and instead I just focused on making him as fast as possible rather than as tough as possible. Then running the two of them together, you can kind of see which method's better. Um, Maybe this is a little spoiler, but it turns out being faster is better when you're in regen. Having him be a little less tough, but just max out the speed. He regenerates his health a lot quicker. He stays alive a lot longer. But in the challenges, it's been a while, but basically, this is complete. This is complete. This arena thing, we need one more that I'll get to level 5 whenever I do, and I can have one more Lego book. Yay! And so what do we got? We got beat campaign on brutal. Oh, and this is the reason why I didn't claim all these yet. We can claim this one though. A lot of the extra energy, which I'll hang on to for later. But yeah, reach 50,000 with one champion. Basically, a really good way to do that is take a champion with a good base of HP. Jamarsa's got a pretty good one, for example. And you give her HP percent on all the bottom pieces. See, I don't even have any 60s. I have, like, this is a 40, this is a 50, this is a 50, so that's 140% HP added just from these. You got HP percents on the substats on some of the others as well as the rings. And I didn't even have to 6-star her to reach 50k. So it is definitely possible to do it without even having to 6-star a unit, although you might want to 6-star a tough unit at some point. What's the final challenge again? Equip an HP type with regen. Okay, 5-star, 6-star regen. So if I want my HP champs, we select HP champs. He's an HP champ, and he's in regen already. They're just all 4-star pieces. Okay, well, I can fix that later. I can fix that and complete that later. Anything else? He asks into the void. Anybody know of anything else I need to do? If I missed anything that you really wanted to see me cover in this episode, let me know in the comments, I guess. Cintranos is kind of a shit show. I'll just say that. Cintranos is super duper endgame. You need all kinds of champions built for that. It's worse than Hydra. It's worse than Doom Tower. It's worse than Tag Arena because you just have way too much stuff that you need to build to be able to get anywhere. Oh, there's the crypt, come to think of it. So what is our best crypt? Our best crypt is in fact Barbarians, and the second is Dark Elf. So this is how far we've reached in Dark Elf. We got all the way to stage 14, but not 15 apparently. And part of that is just because we have Foley and we have Kale. So I've said this in episodes before, I'll say this again. Probably the best method for pushing in faction wars is instead of trying to get all the factions together, just focus on a couple of factions and build a bunch of champions from just that faction. Barbarian is probably going to be the first one that I max out at 63 stars for the simple reason that it's easy to get Barbarians, right? We got Jamarsa, she can do the revives, and at 6 months, we can get Shill of the Drakes, who is maybe one of the most eclectic champions in the game. Has she been power crept by this point? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. But she's still pretty good because she's got her single target revive on a 4-turn cooldown. She has an area of effect stun. At this point, I actually think Plarium should give her a bit of a buff. Just because she's being power crept a little. And what they should do to buff her is I don't know, maybe on her passive, when she heals everybody, place an increased speed on everyone. That'd make her a lot more consistent as well. It'd make her more useful in Clan Boss because you can, there'd be less RNG involved in the runs. So Plarium, if you happen to be watching, which I'm sure you're not, but if you are, give our girl Shield of the Drakes a buff. Give her increased speed on everyone rather than just one champion. And the stun, just increase the rate a little. And honestly, you could probably bring this up to, say, what would be fair? Because she is a reviver, so and a healer, and she's many things, honestly. Like she's got turn meter control on her A1, she's got decreased speed on her A1. So what would be fair? This is 20, this books up to 35. I'd say make it so that it books up to 70. Make it so that it books up to 70 with the right mastery. You could even make it a 75% chance to stun. I think that's fair on a champion like Shield of the Drakes, who really should feel very endgame. This is what I'm thinking. But yes, so for faction wars, for barbarians, you can very quickly get yourself a War Maiden, who I have still not built beyond 3 stars, but she's still basically my best debuffer because she's the only one who can do this Crumbling Blast, decreased defense at 100% on a 3-turn cooldown. That's extremely useful, and she's the only rare that does it in the whole game. I got lucky and I pulled Rorik Wormbane. I don't know when I'm going to build him, of course, but that's another barbarian that I could use in her favor. And while you're farming War Maiden, you can, of course, also farm Shield Guard, who is maybe the best, or maybe he's one of the 2 best uncommon champions in the game. The other one being Armiger, who I also have, and who I also still need to build. But anyway, I think that's about it for all the other areas of the game. We do have some of these stones as well. I actually like to pull the Mortal Soul Stones. You know what? It's a shame I can't do a 10 pull. Come to think of it. I'm just a couple 100 points away from a 10 pull. So you know what? We'll put a pin on that. We'll just pull the Primal Shards. So who do we want? Who's available? For epics, I think the best here, I mean, I'm not even familiar with these other 2, but I am a staunch supporter, a diehard fan of Venomage. Because, and let me show you why. Here, we'll select Venomage, and we will select, do I want Bad Alcazar? Or do I want... I mean, they're all pretty good. Xavia I would have wanted if I didn't already have Foley, because Xavia is another Dark Elf who can block Revive, and she's got lots of great poisons. Calvalax, of course, puts out a crap ton of poisons just automatically right at the start of every round, so that's really cool. And then you have Teo. Teo can be used to solo all kinds of content, but then again, so can Bad Alcazar. I'm going to go with Bad Alcazar because I've never pulled him before, but I do want to go to the index and just quickly go to, say, Venomage. So she's here. She is maybe one of the best champions in the game, honestly. Certainly one of the best epics in the game. Maybe even in the top 5, and here's why. She's got this Flesh Melter thing. This is a 100% heal reduction. You know how I was talking about Nether Spider and how you want 100% heal reduction paired with Geo? Well, when I run my Geomancer team on my main account, Venomage is the one that I pair him with. Venomage can also be used to solo a lot of content because she's got this heal reduction. She's placing poisons on everything. So heal reduction on everything, poison on everything. And then she's got decreased attack, decreased defense. She can pop off the poisons every time she hits with this. And her passive even gives her healing, it even gives her, damage reduction from the heal reduction. So, and even her aura is great. Like 45% accuracy. It's not the best aura in the world, but it's great. If you just want somebody to solo with, you can totally solo with her. So if we pull Venomage, she might even be the next one I build. That's how good I think she is. So then I'm actually kind of torn. And again, in the comments after this, you can tell me if you agree or disagree with my final choice of legendary. But for, well, I mean, we have a bunch of them. We have Calvalax. Calvalax does enemy max HP based damage as well. That's something I'd kind of forgotten about until just this moment. Where is it? It's based on here. Attacks all enemies. Damage increases according to the number of poison debuffs on each target. So if you put a ton of poisons up, and then you hit with this move, you can do some major speed runs with this guy. That might be incredibly useful. I may have just changed my answer, guys. I may have already changed my answer. But Teo, if we look at Teo for a moment, he attacks all enemies with a decreased speed. That can be useful against Hydra. Actually, that could be really useful for Hydra. Then again, Calvalax could also be useful against Hydra. So he's got the poison sensitivity. He's got the poisons. And basically, the great thing about him is that he's able to explode poisons on an area of effect with each turn he gets. So he's like the king of spider speed runs and dragon speed runs, because he could just pop off, and Ice Golem, of course. Because with Ice Golem, instead of doing direct damage to Ice Golem, you want to be able to do passive damage so that he doesn't trigger his passive where he hits you back and revives his own little golem guys, his mini golems, whatever they're called. Oh man, I'm completely torn. And of course, there's Bad Alcazar as well. If we go to the index, Bad Alcazar, he's undead, right? So he attacks all enemies and heals himself. Removes all debuffs from all allies, so he's a cleanser. We could use a cleanser, honestly. And then he places poisons on all the enemies, so it's a nice little tug-of-war effect where you're pulling HP towards yourself and putting poisons on them. Good champion. Very, very tough to say. So RNGesus. Who am I asking RNGesus for? It's a tough call, guys. So I'm going to go for Bad Al. Basically, because I've never pulled Bad Al before. I'd be happy to pull him if I pull him this time. So RNGesus, please give us something good. Honestly, I mean, this is a primal shard, right? The ultimate thing to pull would be a mythical. Which mythical? Let's see if I can call a mythical. It'd be hilarious if this actually works. Of course it won't, but we have a 1% chance of pulling a mythical. So if I go to the index, my favorite mythical might be this guy. I like him because he's got that whole he can survive getting killed. Where is it even? There's so much here. So he's got his metamorph, transforms this champion into an alternate form whenever their last living ally is killed. And you've got this one. If this champion is about to get killed by a fatal hit, blocks incoming damage and places block damage for 2 turns. Then heals the champion by 50% and fills their turn meter. So this is completely crazy. Like with this guy, I see this guy in the arena on my main account. My only move is to stun him, because if he's not stunned, he's like just trying to kill him, he's just gonna go. So he's kind of amazing. So I'm gonna say that's who I want, RNGesus, and we're gonna pull right now. So let's see how we're doing. We're getting an epic, and it's Zelota. I think he has a lot of sleep. Am I remembering that right? Attacks one enemy with a sleep, places a shield, continuous heal, and attacks all enemies with sleep. Yeah, he's a sleep champ. He's like a mini version of Kymar, I guess. Like a mini, not as good version of Kymar. Honestly, this is kind of a dud. So we got one more. So RNGesus, come on, give us some good RNGesus. So we're getting a rare. I forgot you could pull rares. That is the worst thing ever. Plarium, why can you pull rares from primal shards? That's mean. That's just mean. That's what that is. Here, let's go to the Altar of Souls and let's just see if there's anything good at the Soul Merchant. I often try to keep an eye out for a Kale Soul or, something good. There's a Cold Heart Soul here, which I would get if I had a Cold Heart, but I don't. And I'm not going to be pulling the others right now. So I think that's all I got for you guys today. I really think that's it. Come to think of it, the rewards. Yeah, I've been doing this passively, and we're probably going to make it. I could probably even make some of these this Slayer gear. So that'll be a fun time. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.